Vegh TV, the voice for humanity.
Hi, welcome to the New York Parrot Literary Corner, the only and best TV show for a global creative mind audience. And I am Dustin Pickering, your noble and honest host. Today we have Shoshana Vegh, who was born in Israel in 1957. She wrote poetry and diaries from an early age, but destiny meant writing to her in the wake of bereavement, and she started writing when her brother Tuvia was killed in 1974 in an accident at his military service. She was a master's degree in Hebrew literature. Her poems were published in an anthology in 1980. In 2000, she published her first novel about the infatuation of a married woman on the internet. In 2002, her second novel was published, and later poetry and children's book were published also over the years. In 2009, she founded her own publishing house called Vegh that specializes in publishing poetry books. She wrote 16 books herself and has edited over 100 books, poetry and prose. She was awarded a scholarship from the House of the President of the State of Israel for the first poetry book, The Coming of Madness. For the book Sad Ones, she was rewarded for the Israel Foundation's scholarship. Thanks for joining us today, Shoshana. How are you?
I'm fine. It's evening here, so it was a little bit mixed by the hours.
Oh, quite all right. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Our time zones get a little, it's a little confusing sometimes, but it's wonderful to speak with you, and we'll have an interesting conversation to go on with. And so just to kick it off, tell us a little bit about the story of when you first started to write, as you mentioned in your bio.
I was starting to write. I was writing since I was a little kid at school. I was writing diary for myself. Mm-hmm. And I was a high school teacher a long time. I was teaching in high school in my town. And at the end of the 20th century, I started to surf in the internet, and I was talking to people around the world. So my first novel was how a woman is getting along with a man around the world. I was having writing about a man in Arizona, a man in Netherlands, and a man in Austria. 3 men that she was talking and chatting with 3 men, and also it's a romantic book, a novel, a romantic book.
Was that autobiographical or was that pure fiction?
Well, after 20 years, I can say it was a biographical, and I was having experience in the internet. So I think that, when we write, sometimes we have to take our emotions outside. So writing is a bit of a therapy to many, also to
right.
me.
So when you were writing, originally, when you mentioned bereavement, what happened there? What kind of situation was that?
I think I'm also I lost my brother while he was serving in the army. He was in the Yom Kippur War. It was he was getting out from the war. It was okay. And after a few months, he was killed in a vehicle accident in the army. And I was 17. He was not 20. And that, I think that shocked me. And I think that through the writing, because, at that time, it was we can correspond to each other. He was serving in Sinai, in the army, far from home. And I was a student, I was at school. And I was writing him letters while he was serving. And I found myself after his death that I want to continue being in contact with him. So I remember that as a child, I was writing poems to him. I was writing many things to him. And unfortunately, I lost the book that I was writing to him. But I remember myself as a young woman writing a lot to my brother. And that was the starting, after the diary, I was starting to write more poetry and more, trying to get through the writing a connection to the lost brother. I think that when we are writing, for me, it's like collecting the memories and translating and transforming to another phase that give me a little bit relax, because when you're creating something, you are creating something not out, we are creators. We are like sometimes like God, we create from nothing to do something. But it's not nothing, because it's something that happened to you maybe in the virtuality, maybe in the emotions, maybe in the thoughts, and you are bringing it to another phase, another life, it's becoming different. You can feel something, and when you pass it to the writing, and sometimes you feel it's not enough, it's not good enough, because when I'm writing, if I'm not crying, I will not feeling that it's okay. I have to feel the emotions about the writing. That's what my way of writing.
So what your publishing house, I'm curious about this, and I want to say how to pronounce this. Butit? How do you pronounce it? Butit. Okay, so what is the mission of your publishing house, and what sort of literature do you appreciate when you're reading all these manuscripts, and there's so many submissions, I'm sure, per quarter or whatever, however you do it. I'm sure there's like a selection process. You can't just publish anything, so what do you tend to like and prefer?
Yes, I must say that I met many people that they want to publish the poems or a life story of them. I think that we are we are much more educated. Everybody is writing. In a way, everybody almost writing. Now with the computer, now with the internet, now with the groups of writing around the world, you can see a lot of writing. And I can see in this time that people are writing and they have a purpose to live. So they publish every day a poem, they publish a story, a short story. They're making a motivation to live when they are writing. It's becoming very, very important in life now. I think it was before, but now I feel it. I feel that you want to leave something after you. I feel it when sometimes people are coming to me with a life story, and I see the transformation that they are coming to be another person after they have the book in their hand. And sometimes they tell me sometimes they want me to write the story of them. I have to be in their character and I have to be to write their story. So I do sometimes by invitation, I wrote stories. But I can see that the importance of the writing, the importance of the books is very valuable. I think that it's valuable. And also it's like, when before you were making a card about what you are doing, now you are making a book about what you are doing. So when somebody is sending me the papers that I can read what he was writing, I always say I can know him better. I know where he's coming from, what he's doing, or what is his relationship, and if he has the loves, and what you can know everything. It's like graphologic from the writing, what to know about the other person. It's very interesting. I love to explore other people, to explore other things, and most of my name of the publishing house is Piyutit. Piyutit in Hebrew means poems. Piyutit means poem. And sometimes it was, in the ancient time, it was liturgic also. So because most of my books are, I'm preparing books of poetry to Israeli, because I'm making in Hebrew, all the books in Hebrew. And I see how it's coming to them after they see the book. They are like a glory. They are happy, and the dream has come true. And most of them, they say, "I want to leave something after me." It's like a heritage.
Right. I think that the immortality kind of factors into the idea of, we've always as humans, we're always searching for some immortality, some sort of way of living forever. I mean, from everything from cryogenics to whatever else we've tried, that hasn't really worked. It seems like the book is, we leave behind something that's, leaves a little bit of us to tell our story, behind it when we were gone, and I think now, as you mentioned, when we have the so much factoring in to remind us that we're very mortal and fragile, with the various crises going around right now, that are all over the world. I think that makes it more important to write. I think you're right about that, definitely. So I noticed you edited like over 100 books, it says. So it seems like you focus more on the editing process of other people's work than you do on writing your own. Is that true?
Yes, and sometimes my book is slipping out, it's shipping out in between the books, and because can do my own, I do it also sometimes. My last book, it's here. It's my last book. It's this Unfair Todah. I published it in Amazon. I started to work also with Amazon. So if people want to publish a book in Amazon in Hebrew, I can do it for them also in English. And I'm working with in Tel Aviv. I have my printers in printing my books. And now in those days, I think I'm lucky about it because I have a few books in the printing now. I have books that I will collect this week. So it was a very hard work on this July. And now I'm a little bit resting because now the printing house is working and preparing my book. And so I'm like, my husband said, "Why, you don't have any book now?" I said, "I had enough last month. Now I'm resting a bit."
So why do you prefer to edit other people's books, or you just get caught up in the editing process, or how does that work?
It's different to edit another person. Also there's two type of persons that I work with. Most of them are like that. People that want you to edit books and they are accepting what you do. And the other people, the other writing, they think that what they write is holy. You don't touch, you cannot touch the words, you cannot change the words. So, and I think that, everybody needs an editor. Everybody needs somebody to edit his text because sometimes you cannot see what the others see. So I think it's very important to know that somebody else has to read what you're writing, not accept what you write and to leave it for some time and then to go back to this. And so I'm doing the go back to this, to look at it again and to see what I can improve, what is extra, what is, I prefer, like in my way of writing, sometimes I prefer to write very short, not so long, but sometimes it can to be long. I cannot write like a poema, a big, around, a very, very long poem. I cannot. So yeah, I think it's more because I think that we are living in a period that we don't have so much, I think, tension, something like that. We want it short, we want it fast, we want it like McDonald's, we want everything very fast.
Right.
Yeah. And this is the time of the book that's coming very fast. When I was publishing my first book, I was publishing it in another publishing house, not in mine. I was waiting for a year to see what he's saying about my book, if it's okay, if it's not going. And now I can make a book about a month, 2 months, I can do it faster because we are having a connection very fast in the internet, by emails, you can do it very faster. The time has changed also for this.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's very much a prompt, quick, relay from getting the book written to getting it actually made and created and ready in the hands of the people that wrote it. So do you do some kind of marketing with your books that you publish, and how do you go about getting the word out?
Well, I have my website. Everybody, people know me as I was a friend at the Writers Association in Israel. I know I'm really familiar and known about it, and also it's about money.
Right.
It's about money. If you take more money or you take less money, it's a competitive also a market, and they have to be attractive about money, because I think that, you know, when you make a book, it's almost just taken out. In Hebrew, the word is not publishing. In Hebrew, it's otza'ah. Otza'ah is taking out. You take out what you. So to get the money back from the work that you do, it's not easy, because also in I don't know how it is in the United States, but in Israel, when you publish a book, I mean, I have also, I can shift my books to the stores. Yeah? They're mostly in the stores. If the people want, I can give them. They can be in the shelf in the store. But because the commission, I think the payment for this shifting to the store is very high. I cannot give benefits to the writers.
Right.
So because if the shops want 100 books, they say the 100 books is the commission for the putting the books in the stores. So I cannot give you anything back.
Right.
So I prefer that the writer will sell the books by himself or in the internet, in the Facebook groups. They are doing it very nice in Israel. I know that few people can do it by selling the books through the Facebook. They're talking about it, and if you want in the book in the store, you have to know that it's not giving you any benefits. I call it a present to the shop.
Right, and maybe people would rather, you know, put that risk on their reputation, you know, get the book out there and have people and build some readership rather than necessarily make money off of it. Maybe the money will come later, like if you develop a good solid readership, then you can start selling. Maybe that's a strategy that some people may use. Do you find that a lot of authors would prefer to sell on their own, or would they prefer to, you know, use the
the realistic one? I see the realistic ones that say, you know, I make the book for me, my family, my friends. I know it's not going to be the best selling, and I want to give them as a present. I love that kind of clients that they know that the book is very close to them, and they want to give it to another person by a present, as a present. So I love this client. It's very, very. I can tell you a story about a nurse. She was a nurse, and she wanted to give when she retired, she wanted to give the other nurses and the hospital group, and she wanted to give the book. So she was writing poems along the years, and she was making the book, and she gave the book to present at the celebration when she retired. She gave them the examples of the books. So I think that it's a good idea also to make a book for a changing period in time, changing life, something like that. Well, now I have
for people.
Yes. Now I have also a client that is making his book about the memory, about his life. He's going to be 70, and he is preparing the book about his life, how he was graduated the school and the army and the work. He was a high school teacher, as a history teacher, and he's preparing the book, and he's preparing this for his birthday. So I think in most of the people I can see that they have a motivation to do something. Also, I've told you, for remember something, to remember, to give something to the other generation, that they will know the matter. Yes.
So would you like to share a couple of your own poetry poems with us?
Yes, I will read for last weekend. I had two poems that published in a newspaper. We have a newspaper in Hebrew that is publishing in the USA. It's called Yediot Achronot America. And I will read the translation of what I was making, a little translation to the poems. Love is not a choice. When he asks for me, I need to be prepared that the arrow will capture me where we were distant, to be a place we did not choose, and another time when there are no hands in it. And another poem is called Closed, Open, Closed.
Mm-hmm.
She has a decision she's opening. She's opening dreams, she's opens windows, she's rearranging life anew. It happens to her sometimes. He loves her, like on the first day. She's still his only one. He forgives her. He knows there is no choice. She opens it all up. She always leaves a key stuck in the door, so from the direction she's coming out. He tells her, if you're leaving, I'm changing a lock. But when she opens it all up, he's waiting for her. She lives among the dreams she opens, sucking someone sweet until she knows she can close. And when she closes, she sews the curtain, leaves the boycott open. And if new spirit comes in them, she will not bear it in vain. She will open, she will open. And they call that marriage are open. She sings the married couple are prom. And if it needs air, she opens again, it opens again like a rose.
Hmm. Interesting. So you write a lot about love, or is that just a particular example?
Yes, I'm writing about love. I think that I have a romantic soul. I think I cannot, stop loving, even that I'm not young.
I have sort of the same ailment, I guess you could call it.
What?
I write a lot of love poetry. I myself am spiritualized love poetry. But maybe you'd like to share something in Hebrew with us as well.
Yes, I want to share in Hebrew, yes, also. You know, I will tell you about something that I was doing. You know, I was teaching in high school for a long time literature. And after I was retired, I returned to teach at a jail. I was teaching prisoners. And I had a few poems from that work. So I read about it. את התלמיד שאמר לי, אם היית מורה שלי, לא הייתי מגיע לכאן, לא אשכח לעולם. ואת התלמיד שאמר לי, תקראי את החיבור שכתבתי אתמול בתא, והגיש לי נייר בכתב יד צפוף, לא אשכח לעולם. את התלמיד שהתחיל בכיתת המתחילים, ולא ידע כלל אותיות באלף בית, והנה הוא קורא בשטף, בכיתת המתקדמים, לא אשכח לעולם. לא אשכח את פניהם בשיעורים בין הסורגים, כשרק היונה על עדן החלון יודעת מהו חופש. ואצלם הצוהר נפתח רק לחצר קטנה שכמעט לא רואים בה את אור השמש. לא אשכח את פניהם, וחלקם עוד ישובו בסבבים הקבועים של החיים, להיות בני עבדות, לעולם פושע וללא חרטות. ואנו ניטע בהם כל פעם מחדש תקוות שווא, שהנה הגלגל לא יסתובב.
I love listening to different languages and how they sound. That's a very interesting. It flows very well. It's fun to listen to. So thank you for sharing that. Do you have a story behind that you'd like to share?
Yes, I was writing about pupils, that there was the special pupils that there were there, and one of them said to me, you know, if you were my teacher before, when I was a kid, not now, because they were telling me, you know, when I was 9, I stole a bus. When I was this, somebody was firing me because, you know, they were living in a neighborhood of criminals. And then you can see that they were appreciating that the people from outside that's coming to them and they're helping them. So I said to me in my poems, I will not forget them, and I will. And then I remember this one and this one and this one, and that was the poem. And also, you know, in the end, I write, you know, the circle. I hope that they will not come back, after we are making them to be better people. I hope that they are not coming back to jail, not coming back after making crimes. And, it's like a
Yes,
wheel that is
absolutely.
turning all the time. So it's a
Right.
prayer.
There's definitely a chance of redemption. I hope that, anybody out there who's been in prison or in any kind of facility like that. When I was a kid, I was in juvenile for a little while for some stupid things I did, but I gratefully grew out of it, and I was a troubled youth, but I grew out of it. So it happens. It can definitely happen. You can definitely redeem yourself and pull yourself out of a mess. So it's wonderful that you share that story with us. I'm curious, do you ever listen to music when you write, or do you have any particular style of music you like to when you're creating your own work?
I think that I love all kind of music. I don't, I love pop. I love music, Israeli music, modern music. I love everything. I love it. And music, it can give you an inspiration. Yes, it can give you. And when you're working, you have to. I like the environment of music. Yes, I like it very much, and it's good. It's helping.
You have a variety that you appreciate. So you ever put something kind of quiet down, listen to a little quiet music and just
Yes, when I'm editing, a text that I don't know it before, and I'm coming to, I prefer a quiet one, a piano, something very
relaxation.
quiet.
Yeah. Does it ever help boost your creative imagination, or is it just something sort of put in the background, help you relax, or how does that work?
I think a very, I don't know if I'm correcting with I can tell you how I can do what give me a motivation to write. It can be like an idea, like I can hear a sentence, I can hear something, or I can see a picture. So then I can, I can have just the one line of the poem. I can have one word, and then I have to wait. No, I can say to wait when to write the poem. It can be, the line is lying here, and you can sometimes, you can do. You go about to bed, and you see that the line is coming to be a poem. What I'm saying that also that the smartphone, the smartphone is becoming the most important, valuable for me as a writer, as a poem, I remember the first time that I wrote almost a whole book in smartphone, in the, in the yellow page of this, how we call it? In Hebrew, it's ptakim. I was writing one after one, and then I saw that I had a book. That's the way that now the telephone it's like a computer. You have everything inside the telephone. You don't need to open the computer, you don't need to open a notebook. What I'm thinking about it, about in the archive before, people send the archive of them, the papers that they were writing, maybe they wrote on a paper on a restaurant or but now we are writing in a smartphone. So what will be left to, what will be for the next generation to see because our archive is in the computer. So we need to think what will live after us.
Right.
So sometimes we print it.
Right. A lot of, I sometimes, think about how much, like, if an alien species were to just, like, if we were to be gone, an alien species were. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. We had a little bit of a technical difficulty. So if you want to finish up what you were saying there. We were talking about what if an alien had taken over and, kind of humanity was evaporated and we were looking at our information all in our smartphones and on the internet, and how, that was an interesting thought experiment. Hopefully we caught that part of the recording, but that was something I was thinking, how much we put on the internet just by ourselves, just individually, we input so much information, and there's just so much that the written, the spirit of the written word, it's like you can learn so much about people from what they've left behind as artifacts, as we spoke in the beginning, how people want to leave something of a relic of themselves. And so that's kind of an interesting thought experiment to think, what would some foreign, entity think of us looking at our materials, like
Yes.
everything we've put in and on the internet, on our phones and everything, as you mentioned, the putting it on the phones. So we have a little bit of time. If you want to say some thank yous or do some, like a general message to the viewers kind of thing. So we
Yes,
have a little time for that.
I want to thank you very much, Dustin.
Thank you. Thank you so much too.
It's a special show of you.
Mm-hmm.
This time that we are, today I heard that our government said to us not to fly because Corona is still around.
Mm-hmm.
And the communications that we found, now you talk to me, you're in New York and I'm here in Israel, and it's very wonderful that we can still connect, even that other options not open.
Right.
And I wish that everybody can, write, because writing is, I have my friend, one of my best friends, she was a good writer also. She published a book that now in this day it's called, and a book is called like a healing poems. She was writing 151 poems about healing. All the poems were healing. So this is her name is Tipi Shachor. And in this time we need healing, and writing is healing. Writing is therapy, and I think that if somebody wants to do something good to himself, write, sit and write. Even if it's painful, even if it's starting with a very, very sad moments, sometimes the relief come after the writing. That's what my thesis. This is my feeling. But it doesn't come immediately. It can come after a few days or few months or years, But don't stop. If you have the talent to write, not even talent, you want to write, you can write.
Don't think about to write. Yeah, if you want to do it, you should be allowed to do it, and don't let anybody inhibit you and tell you you can't do that. You don't have the means or the vocabulary or the talent or whatever. You develop that stuff. You develop that over time.
Yes,
with practice.
Even if you think that you are not really, not the best one, not the good one, just try to. It gives a relaxation. It gives you a transformation. I believe in the transformation through writing, through art, through everything. And I can also mention somebody that was living in New York. I was visiting him. It was my son. He is now back in Israel. He was learning in NYU. He was learning computer design.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I think, the third. I love to visit him when he was in New York. But now he's back here.
Mm-hmm.
So I thank you very much for this tasking.
Well, thank you very much, Shoshana, for joining us today. It's been a pleasure talking with you, and we've learned quite a bit from your words and thoughts. And if anybody wants to check out your publishing house, what is the website we could visit there?
Putit. It's called PUTIT. Yes, Putit. Or if you write also Shoshana Vegh Putit, it's coming also to this.
Excellent. So that will be, if anybody's interested in taking a look at what you're offering for the writers and readers out there, they can take a look at that and find you there. So this has been Shoshana Vegh with the New York Parrot Literary Corner, and I am Dustin Pickering. I am your host, and we will be back tomorrow with a wonderful guest. We don't know where we'll be. Today we were in Israel, so that shows how worldwide we are. We have arrangements for worldwide authors and writers. So we are the only and best global platform for creative minds. So please get in touch with me at literarycorner@newyorkparrot.com if you are curious about becoming a guest, or if you want to submit to our journal, our online journal. We also have an anthology coming out, series 1 of the Literary Parrots, which will be available for $17 pre-order. So please look for the flyer and get in touch with us. You can pay us at paypal.me/nyparrot. That will be on the YouTube site here under this video. We also accept donations. If you don't want an anthology, maybe you want to donate $5, $10, $20, whatever, then that's fine as well. We will definitely accept that, and we'll abundantly grateful for that, for any little donation we can get. So everything is big for us. You know, we want to keep moving on. So if you don't want to use PayPal, you can use MoneyGram or Western Union. We also accept that. Get in touch with me, Dustin Pickering, on Facebook, and I'll arrange for that to for you to be able to do that and pay us that way. It's $6 international shipping and $3 in the United States. So definitely be in touch with us about that. And if you're not a subscriber right now and you enjoyed this programming, don't forget to subscribe. It's very important that we reach a million subscribers. We're looking for 1 million subscribers to this channel. We'll continue to promote and share our content with other people until we reach 1 million subscribers, and we'll keep it going. So thank you again, Shoshana. It's been a wonderful pleasure talking with you. I'm Dustin Pickering as the New York Parrot Literary Corner, and I am your host, and I'm signing off. You'll see us tomorrow again, same YouTube station. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you.